Have you ever put your name in for a really interesting project and then forget about it for like 3 years, and then suddenly, one day, so stay tuned. And if you enjoy taking the past and the present and smashing them together, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. The Quadra 700, this is a real one, is one of my favorite classic Macintoshes, an iconic machine that a lot of people associate with Jurassic Park. And apparently, one person loves the Quadra 700 so much that they designed and built a modern mini ITX computer case with painstaking detail and precision, assembling and finishing each of the limited run of 15 by hand. I'll link below to a subreddit that documented the progress of this incredible labor of love, and creator ADEF25 kindly allowed me to show some of the in-progress shots here in this video. But I don't think we need to do a whole lot of prefacing here. I think we should go right into unboxing this thing, because every part of it, including the box, is a meticulously crafted work of art. So much attention to detail went into creating every part of this, including this wonderful thick cardboard box with this beautiful 90s Macintosh looking printing, the proper 90s Macintosh font, production run Q4 2023, 4 of 15. I am so freaking lucky to have this beautiful thing. And I'm going to gingerly open this box because you bet I'm going to keep this and cherish it forever. Just look at that, 1991 reimagined. Absolutely wonderful. In the box here we have some assembly instructions. Very nice touch. Show me your secrets, ho ho ho. This powder coated metal case. This color is beautiful too. And I want to mention that I paid for this case. I did not get this beautiful thing for free. And as far as I know, he's not making any more of these, but he is planning on making the files available for sale if you want to 3D print this or have one manufactured by somebody like PCBWay who can do this sort of thing. So let's take a first look around this lovely case. Inside here we have mounting for your SSD. We've got a USB port that comes out the front, a little cable extender for your power supply to come out the back, PCIe riser for your graphics card, and again, this thing is all metal. Yeah, this side comes off. This is where our motherboard gets mounted, which is, of course, a mini ITX motherboard. And the board I'm going to put in here is this MSI B7601 Edge Wi-Fi, which will take my Core i9 and DDR5 memory. So let's see what it's like to actually build in this case. Right after this quick word about today's sponsor, PCBWay, who is still celebrating their 10-year anniversary. 10 years of PCB and prototyping goodness, now offering more services than ever. Things like assembly, 3D printing, injection molding, and tons of fabrication services. There's options for turnkey service where PCBWay will supply the parts. There's even a great online Gerber view and 3D object viewer available, so you can make sure that you're ordering exactly what you expect. Speaking of that 10-year anniversary, make sure you check out the PCBWay 10th anniversary tour on their website. It's really quite cool. Plus, there is special coupons, giveaways, and other promotions. Seriously, the retro computing hobby would be so much harder without PCBWay. So many projects have come to life over those 10 years. So as always, if you have any PCB or prototyping needs, this is the perfect time to give PCBWay.com a try. Aren't mini ITX motherboards just adorable? I really love how the developer here included all of the cables and cords and stuff to fit nicely in the case. I mean, look at that. How convenient. They even went so far as to include all of the little screws that you might need. I also realize now that it wants 2 fans up front, but in order to mount them we're going to have to remove the outside of the case, which means I need to remove 2 of the screws that I just put in for this fan. Probably should have read the instructions, but that's all right. And just look at this attention to detail. Where the screw actually fits is slightly recessed, so the fan screw is exactly flush with the front of the case so that it slides on and off nice and easy. And of course, we're going to put a way overkill graphics card in here, an RTX 4070. We have this nice little bracket to hold the GPU in place. We need to use one of these small SFX style power supplies to fit in the case here, because a standard ATX power supply is way too big. Comes with this neat mounting bracket. And then we need to make sure the switch is set to on, because that will be inaccessible once we install this face down. Plug this into the extension here. That's not going to fit with this second fan, son of a gun. Alright, so I think I did a pretty good job hiding all of the cables, which was not easy because there is not a lot of space in here. So I've got stuff tucked behind the video card and behind the motherboard here. I also took a bit of a liberty with this fan up front here. I went with an 80mm light up fan because, you know, colors. But hey, I think that'll be pretty good for airflow. And we'll just drop our i9 12900K in here. And for now, 32 gigs of RAM, because that's what I found laying around. This can, of course, go up to 96 gigs of RAM, which is pretty freaking cool, and I'll probably do that someday. Now, there's not a whole lot of room to cool the CPU in this case. I found this cooler, which is extremely low profile, has some nice heat pipes there, and I think will just fit. Yeah, that's like exactly the right size. If you're curious, that's the IS40X V3 low profile CPU cooler. Ah, crap, I have to take the board back out to get underneath it to put the heatsink on. And I'll just add the perfect amount of MX4 thermal compound on here. All right, well, I think we can try and test fire this thing. Oh, it's starting up. Let me just grab a totally normal keyboard here. The 8-bit Commodore 64 wireless keyboard. All right, it does see the hard drive. Well, let's get these side panels on here and really get the full effect. All right, one side on. And just like the real Quadra 700, we've got some feet for it. All right, and there we go, our Quadra 700 Mini ITX super overpowered gaming machine. But before we install an operating system on this thing, let's see what it looks like next to a real Quadra 700. Oh, look at that. It is such a cool tribute to this machine. All the lines, the Snow White design language, it just looks so freaking good. And you know we're going straight to an Ubuntu install because I want to use this for both a Linux gaming machine and to run silly emulators. Installing Ubuntu just cause I want to. It's kind of fun too. Ubuntu. Yeah, and as you might imagine, it plays demanding games on Steam Proton quite well. Here is Teardown, which is extremely demanding. But we have a Core i9 and a 4070 Ti, so yeah, runs pretty great. But you know, something's still not quite right. Oh yeah, now this is awesome. Sending a 4070 Ti into a Sony Trinitron multi-scan CRT. Oh man, I'm such a nerd. How frickin' silly is this? The answer is it's very silly. Why do I do these things? I don't know. Shenanigans. Okay, well, that'll do it for today's foray into anachronism. This case is so unbelievably cool, and I'm so grateful that I had the chance to purchase this. Definitely check out the link to the subreddit in my description and be amazed at the journey that this thing went through in development. It really is an amazing labor of love. But if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more stuff like this, please subscribe down below, and thank you very much for watching. And a special thanks to Alex Hoffman, Alex the Rat, Andrew Nicholson, April White, Chris Biggs, Chris Calderon, Chris Nelson, Control-Alt-Reese, Darren Johnstone, Dave's Garage, Drew Hamlin, Eduardo Fonseca, 3 Hours 9, Frodo Jedi, Gaspar Heller, George Rzansky, Graham, Greg from Rutk Mods, Harris Brody, JS, James Fryman, James Laurie, Jason Pepas, Camille Rakowski, Lyle Truid, Matthew Crowell, Nick Daniels, Oh It's Just Jose, Paul Spencer, Ryan, Scott Cedarbaum, Scott Thompson, Steve Salavan, Tom Woodfin, Unknown Soldier 41, Veronica Explains, and Xantronics Industrial, who are my highest tiered patrons and all of my Patreon supporters for helping to make these videos possible.